Another thing about this Vince McMahon documentary, Mr. McMahon. Honestly, we already know Vince McMahon is a sleazy trash bag. But it really didn't paint any of the people that guest starred in this documentary any better. And I'm going to go through them one by one. And I'm going to tell you who the star of the documentary was at the end of the day. And I applaud him for giving us at least something. First, we had Vince McMahon. No need to go through that. Stone Cold served absolutely no purpose in this documentary because he came off as aggressive and arrogant and confused. And when that man said, I don't get down with the CTE, I said, now you know damn well something wrong with Steve Austin. Something wrong with him. Then while he said he don't give a damn about no CTE and he only had one concussion, they proceeded to show him get his neck broke and the many chair shots and land on his head and shit that he took. Terrible. Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff is stuck in that 83 weeks that he beat WWE on primetime TV. He is stuck there permanently. He will never leave. Even when they asked him about how he feels about Vince McMahon, all this man could talk about was I beat him 83 weeks in a row. Did you know Eric Bischoff auditioned to be a backstage analyst for WWF at the time? That was a revelation. Vince McMahon was like, I didn't want to hire him. He didn't have it. Maybe that's why when he got the WCW, he wrote himself in to show Vince, oh, I do have it and a lot more. John Cena. Diplomatic John Cena. According to him, what I learned is he didn't have no fucking character, and so what he did was essentially adopted the rapper because it's novelty to see white boys act like thug black people, and that just took off with the audience. And Stephanie McMahon is the one who said, oh, that's cute, do that on TV. Enter Doctor of the Thugonomics. Also know he is never going to say anything disrespectful about Vince McMahon because Vince McMahon gave him his career. Bob Costas. Bob Costas did not fuck with Vince McMahon, especially when that XFL shit kicked off. You would have thought Vince McMahon fucking took Bob Costas' baby from his mother. He was like, I am not legitimizing this bullshit with you. And then there was a part where he was showing the clip and Vince McMahon was trying to intimidate Bob Costas. And Bob Costas was like, you better back the fuck up. I will give him a thumbs up. He was just like, this dude. It was funny when it was goofy and shit, but at one point, Bob was like, you moving into like real sports, and I ain't down with that. And he made sure to let it be known. Bret Hart. Bret Hart is always going to be, he's always going to have a very raw spot in when it comes to the WWF. First of all, yes, his brother died. He said he took the accident. That's what the cops told him. He took it for that. Although deep down he said he feels that Vince McMahon was working over Owen because of his and Vince McMahon's relationship being destroyed with that whole Montreal shit. He hated Bret. Bret Michaels. Hated his guts. Bret Michael corroborated that yes, he was a dick. But at the end of the day, Bret Hart was in it for the love and the passion and the heart, not just for the business. So he got his feelings trampled a lot. Jimmy Hart stays in character, kayfabe. What the fuck does that mean? Anytime that man talks, he look like he is still in 1986. He looks like a Muppet, like Dr. Teeth. Y'all know Dr. Teeth from the Muppets? Paul Heyman. I'll give Paul Heyman his props. He gave us something to feel when it came to explaining Vince McMahon's ego and psyche. Vince McMahon told Shane to stab him. If he's so hard up about taking the company and all that, he gave him a knife, told him to stab him, and then he'll believe what Shane wants to do. Shane did not stab him, so Vince said, essentially, to get the fuck out my face. You ain't built for this. Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, I will repeat what Tony Atlas said when it came to Vince McMahon. Hulk Hogan will forever be etched in history. There's no taking it from him. He was the vehicle that got WWF at the time off the ground. But Hulk Hogan was a terrible motherfucker. Terrible motherfucker. He will literally smile in your face and stab you in the motherfucking back. Now, one thing I will say, I'm not, like, it ain't no big deal, is because during the steroid trials, Hulk Hogan had immunity with the prosecutors to go ahead and throw Vince under the bus. But the thing is, they didn't have a case. And so when they asked, a simple question was, did Vince McMahon sell you steroids? Hulk Hogan said no. And he wasn't lying. They didn't get the steroids from Vince. But Vince also didn't stop them from taking it. It was nothing in place in the late 80s, 90s to stop Vince from neither promoting or frowning upon the uses of steroids. That's it. Hulk Hogan was all about the money. Vince McMahon literally looked like his feelings was hurt after a handshake, and Hulk was like, well, WCW was paying the money, and I know I shook your hand, but money talks, bullshit walks. Hulk Hogan was just a younger version of Vince at the time. He is a younger version of Vince McMahon. That's what I know. Kay Kopovitz, which was the founder of USA, she didn't give a fuck what they did. Just don't make fun of Ted Turner, because that's her friend. Linda McMahon, Titan Sports, she was basically working in the background with the money, and that's Vince McMahon's wife. Listen, I'll sit in the corner. You can fuck all you want, fuck off on people, do whatever it is you want to do, as long as that money is rolling in. She is literally a kept woman. That is Linda McMahon. Shane McMahon is the embattled son. Again, Vince, his daddy, his biological father, treated Vince like an outsider. Nothing more than a tag-along, until Vince went and pulverized all of the damn territories. Then his daddy said, oh, you my son, come here, I love you. Shane McMahon didn't get love or a pat on the back until he put his life literally on the fucking line for sports entertainment. No different. Shane is the nice guy. He's a nice guy. He's willing to work. He's willing to make adjustments. Vince McMahon did not want him in the business. Nope. Vince McMahon wants sharks. He wants somebody that's going to kick you in the ass and take you from the back. And that's probably why the next person, Stephanie McMahon, was groomed to take the realm. I believe if Paul Liverskate wasn't around, Stephanie McMahon would be the head of creative. I will give Stephanie this. When she was working with the women and advocating for the women, shit was getting done. I do think Stephanie McMahon should come back and advocate for the women, and probably do that exclusively, because her husband don't know what the fuck he's doing. But she laughed at a lot of things that probably isn't funny, like incest, sexual abuse, the things that her daddy had her asking to do, which was really indicative of what he was raised on and what he grew up on. He didn't have no filter. If it made money, he was going to do it. And she laughed. Like when Mike Tyson got brought on for the WrestleMania and all that, and she turned around and said, we didn't bring him on during the rape stuff, did we? They said, yeah. And she looked back like, oh, and left it there. She never answered a question or finished a statement about her dad. And that's fine. It's her father. Dave Meltzer did most of the talking. What's new? This time he didn't sound as parched as he usually does, but Dave Meltzer did most of the talking. A lot of speculation. You're never going to know. It could be true and it could be not. Who the fuck knows? Shawn Michaels, in his old cockeyed age, is a likable guy. But he told us, I was a dick back in the day. Shawn Michaels is credited in this documentary as the spark that lit the Attitude Era. When he came out in some tight ass, like, what do you call it, boxer briefs, and he stuffed in some gauze to make his balls and shit big, and he proceeded to roll, gyrate, and hump in the middle of the ring, and that was the birth of the Attitude Era. Is credited with Shawn Michaels. That's what I learned. Phil Mushnick, sports columnist for the New York Post, hated any and everything that had anything to do with Vince McMahon. He was righteous in all of his columns. He was there to say, I told y'all this motherfucker was crazy. I told y'all. That's what Phil Mushnick was there for. I told y'all. Bruce Pritchard, that is Vince McMahon's right hand man. He is his right ventricle in the heart. Bruce Pritchard said, "Listen, Vince McMahon is not a terrible person, and this documentary just wanted to paint him as a dickhead because my wife, she had cancer, and he made sure that she got all the best care, and he was nice to me." Okay, Bruce. The fact that Bruce Pritchard still sits right beside Triple H says everything I need to know about this company. Cody Rhodes, Mr. Diplomat. What I do learn about Cody was at every wrestling show. Whenever they showed a clip, Cody said, I was there. I was there that night. I was there. That's what Cody was there to do. Oh, I remember that. I was there. Wendy Richter got the short end of the stick. Her story is similar to Bret Hart's in the sense that she was leaving or something like that, and she didn't want to drop the title to, I believe it was Mae Young or Moolah. And Vince was like, okay, bitch, I'm going to take it from you one way or another. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he did. He did the 1, 2, 3 on her. She looking around crazy. She was very upset. And Vince McMahon stood there and looked her dead in the face like, it's my shit. That's my property. You're done here. He never saw Wendy Richter again, and we never saw her again either. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Let me tell y'all something about him. He's no better than Hulk Hogan in the sense that he's a liar. I don't believe shit that comes out Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's mouth. He's the type that'll be like, oh, yeah, you want to do that? Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. Then go in the boardroom and take your idea and just look at you like, are you sure that happened? What I didn't like, and y'all can say what the fuck y'all want, he is credited as being the first black American to win a major championship in the WWF. This motherfucker said he was the first person of color. I said, you know what? Anytime somebody's scared to say the word black, tells me everything I need to know. Then he said, well, he got with a stable of color. The Nation of Domination was a stable of black men. And the crazy part about that is the Nation of Domination was a heel faction because they came out and told the white audience that they keeping the black man down. And they took things from the paper, statistics, history, and threw it back at the audience and got booed. That's why they were a heel faction. Not that this was his documentary at all, but even when The Rock talks about, at any point he talks about how he came into the business and changed his character work, I don't like that he don't give Ron Simmons his props. I don't like that he don't give the Nation of Domination their props, because them motherfuckers is the one that told Rock, you need to lean more into that blackness. Hence, The Rock. Another conversation for a different day. I don't fuck with The Rock like that. Now, back in the day, I was all the way turned. I ain't even going front. I ain't never going front. I was all the way turned for The Rock. But after that Essence Magazine article, I already knew what type of time that nigga was on. But never mind. Anyway, moving right along. He is still giving us good entertainment, even though he's acting like a white, like a southern white man with that. I'ma whoop you, boy. I'ma make you bleed, boy. I don't know where that came from, but I take it for now because it's Cody. He can whoop Cody. Undertaker will burst into tears. You talk about Vince McMahon. The Undertaker will cry. Do you hear me? The Undertaker will cry. Tears if you say anything disrespectful about Vince McMahon. He is not the one to play. If the Vince McMahon needed a home health aide, the Undertaker, he gonna do it. I guarantee you, when Vince McMahon gets in them ages where he linked over and he need help, the Undertaker gonna be right there holding his motherfucking hand. Mark my words. Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus was there to uphold her legacy. Because the shit that she was in there doing, she was doing it because she was so fucking thirsty and hungry to get somewhere, to just show Vince that she will do anything to make that money, to stay on the marquee, and she did any and everything. But according to Trish, it was that time. I didn't mean for it to ripple the way it did. It was just, I just wanted to get where I needed to go. Like, I was willing to do anything for the business. Trish Stratus, please. Triple H lied to Bret Hart's wife in that documentary about Bret Hart, and that's why his wife put a damn hex on his ass, and his health has been in decline ever damn since. That man ain't even 60 years old and got a goddamn pacemaker. She told him, did you know what was going to happen to Bret? Did you know what was going to happen in the ring? Triple H won't even look at Bret Hart's wife. These people had dinner together. Your kids played with my kids. That's what she said. You played with my kids, because he didn't have kids at that time. But he was really deep in the family. Wouldn't even look at his wife. She put a hex on his ass. He ain't been the same since. I think after this, when Bret Hart finds out that Triple H, in fact, admitted, yeah, Vince told us to lie, and I'm not going to go against the boss. Like, what do you want me to do? Bret Hart is going to be fucking devastated. Lastly, Booker T. Booker T was Booker T's Booker T. I can see when WWC conversation is talked about, Booker T still feels some kind of way about how he was handled and was able to get that belt 5 times when the company was going down. I also noticed that Eric Bischoff took a swipe at Booker T in this documentary when he said there's people talking about stuff that they don't know. He doesn't know what was going on in the background. He was talking about Booker T, because this already happened before, again, in real time recently, where Booker T had to get Eric Bischoff together again about that whole WCW shit. Booker T's still raw about that. But when they asked Booker T a question, he just was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. The star of the show and the guy that I got respect for after watching this, and every time there's a documentary, please make sure he's there, is Tony Atlas. He is the only person that gave us some meat. He is the only person that answered the question. He is the only person that I believe majority of the shit that come out his mouth. Tony Atlas worked with Rocky Johnson. Rocky Johnson, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's daddy. Ain't no way that dude worked with Rocky Johnson and Dwayne Johnson acts the way he acts. Ciao. I just want to thank Tony Atlas for being on this documentary, because if he wasn't, we wouldn't have had shit to go with. That's one thing I will say about the people they decided to put on this documentary. It said more about them than it said about Vince. And what I learned is that everybody was there tiptoeing and shit, because this was before the whole situation had took place with the sexual allegations. Tiptoeing and shit and wanting to protect their legacy. They did just enough, but not too much. That's all I got. I just want to get that out there. That's one thing you'll pick up. If you watched it and picked up anything I said too, or something different, hit me in the comments, let me know. Deuces.